Hi everyone, welcome. Today I am going to talk about the idea or what we define as source, at least in my perspective. I know there are many different interpretations and belief systems out there in regards to what source is. Many different people have centered themselves and grounded themselves in different ideations of it. But I am going to offer you a different perspective on that subject matter as I came to understand it from my own experiences with the divine and spiritual warfare. Now, when we talk about source, most precisely when I talk about source, I am speaking more so about the primordial intelligence of existence itself. I believe that many people have the same inclination as well, or the same ideation or belief system as far as that subject line is concerned. But to me, from my perspective, that is what I define as source. Furthermore, source to me, aside from being, from my understanding, the primordial intelligence of existence itself, it is also what I call the Most High. So whenever I utter the word the Most High, I am specifically referring to the primordial intelligence of existence itself. That may trigger some people when I say this, but that is my perspective. It is different from God. Source, from my experience, is different from God, structurally and existentially. God, to me, is the primordial intelligence or essential structural intelligence of our reality, which we often call the universe or existence, because I came to realize that there are many different types of existences out there. And we tend to see physical existence as the universe and the only thing that actually exists, and tend to see or define God or source from that lens. So, to me, from my perspective, source is different from God. And of course, many different religions have different types of gods. Some religions believe that there is only one God. And other religions have many different gods, and there are many different levels to it, because some people define deities as God. Some people may see angelic beings or define angelic beings as God. Some people define elementals as God. Some people define extremely powerful spirits that have had bodies as God, right? So there are many different interpretations and belief systems and so on and so forth. But to me, if you will, from a hierarchical point of view, I put the primordial existence of the primordial intelligence of existence as source, which I also call the Most High in my dealing with the divine. And from my perspective, most people may tend to interact with the intelligence of our universe as God. And some people may interact with different interpretations or viewpoints or segmentation of that primordial intelligence of our physical reality, universe, as their God. Hence why sometimes we have many conflicts when it comes to that topic or subject line. From my vantage point, this is how I have observed all these interpretations and iterations and ideations of the higher realm as many of us perceive it from our different religions and spiritual perspective and practices and so on and so forth. One other aspect of this subject line that may create confusion is also that we live in an energy reality. At least from our interpretation of it, it's an energy reality. As we are bioelectric beings, we interact with reality from electrically, right? And we process everything electrically as well. So we live in an energy reality. But when it comes to interacting with higher dimensional intelligences, whether they are angelic beings, deities, elementals, other consciousnesses, and entities that may be vibrating or being from realms that we may not know much about. We see them from our energetic lens, and therefore we have interpretations that may be colored by our emotional disposition, our belief systems, and what our emotional, logical, and spiritual psyche is able to handle. So sometimes people may be seeing the same deities or entities or intelligence, but may have different interpretations from the psychological point of view of it, and maybe defining the same entity or being or God differently while they are looking at the same thing.